Hello everyone, Namaste, this is Muskan. A very warm welcome to my channel. I hope that you all are doing great, and it's been a while that I recorded a video related to books. So here I am sharing my November wrap up with you all. This video is all about the books that I read in the month of November. I read 3 books, and the books are Strange Sally Diamond, Dust Child, and the third book that I read is After You by Jojo Moyes, which is a sequel to the prequel that I read, Me Before You. And yeah, let's just begin with the first book. The first one that I want to talk about is Strange Sally Diamond. Now, I saw this book almost everywhere on the internet, like on the Instagram, the Bookstagram community. I saw this book everywhere, and people were in high appreciation of this book. So I thought, let's just read it, just see what this book is all about, what this book has to offer. And I really wanted to read a good thriller. So this book was categorized as a psychological thriller, so that is the reason why I got into reading this book. But let me just say this in the beginning of this review itself, that I did not like the book at all. I did not find the book to be worth the hype. So the protagonist of the story is a woman named Sally, who is unable to process through her emotions, or it would be better if I say that she is unable to feel. And this woman Sally acts as if she is a mechanical device, and she will do only the things that you will ask her to do in the same manner, in the exactness of what you have asked her to do. And this can be understood with an example, not an example, but a part of the story is that her father asks her to dispose him off with the garbage after he dies, and that is exactly what she does. Because she has been asked to do that, and she knew no better to look beyond these things. And this is where you get to see how messed up of a mind that character has. But as the story progresses, you get to know about Sally more and more. You get to understand why she is the way she is. Sally has been in an abusive childhood, and her father kept her mother and Sally, both of them, in captivity. And with his misogynistic mind, he tortures them immensely to create such a drastic impact on their minds that they know nothing better about humans. So what happens as the story progresses is that Sally slowly starts to realize or understand, or gets to be aware of all the truths about her childhood. And later on, we see that she tries to step out of her zone, of her comfort zone, and she starts making friends. She finds a job, and she starts to seek therapy. And that is the part where the readers will really appreciate the character growth, because she puts in some real efforts to understand other humans, to make friends, and to truly live. So that is the part where the readers will appreciate or sympathize with the character the most. And the readers will expect a really fitting ending to the character. So that is not what happens. However, on the other hand, what happens is that all the efforts that Sally has put into herself, that she has put into making friends, into being a better version of herself, into knowing better, to being better, all of that goes in vain when she realizes something very terrible happens to her, and she realizes that she cannot trust anyone now more than ever. And I did not like that part. I understand that this book has been categorized as a psychological thriller, and it goes into our psyche, but the book did not deserve that ending. The character did not deserve that ending. I feel that so much of such character growth should amount to something, but what happens in the end is that all of the things return back to their own place. She returns back to where she started from, and that was really terrible thing to do to a character. I did not like it. So the biggest takeaway from this book, from the story, is that there's a child in the same pedigree chart as Sally's, and that is the only child who gets to truly live a happy and a satisfying and a fulfilling life, and that is the only child who, you know, gets to be happy, whereas everyone in the same family, almost everyone, not almost everyone in the same pedigree chart had a terrible life. So that is what happens in this book. I would suggest you to read the trigger warnings prior to reading this book. I mean, if you decide to pick up this book, but if you take my recommendation, I would not recommend you to read this book at all. I did not like it. I did not find this book to be worth the hype. I mean, I understand that this book wants to showcase to you that no matter what you do, you cannot get rid of the past, get rid of the traumas of your past experiences, and I would like to differ. The character growth was really good, but the downfall, I did not expect that, and that should not have happened. The characters should have gotten the ending that they deserved. So yeah, moving on to the next book. The second book that I read in the month of November is one of the best books that I read this year, that I read in the year of 2023, and I am so glad that I read it. I was not in the mind to pick this book up and to read it, but I am glad that I did so. And the book is Dust Child. Now let's just first appreciate the cover. It looks so beautiful, right? So this is a historical fiction, and I always love reading a good historical fiction or a literary fiction. So being a historical fiction, this book is set during the times of Vietnam War, which started in 1955 and ended in the 1975. So a total of 6 nations, including United States, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Philippines and South Korea, sent their troops to fight in South Vietnam against North Vietnam. So it was a war between the anti-communists and the communist states. And the war ended in 1975 with the fall of Saigon city, and the city has been renamed as Ho Chi Minh City. I really hope that I pronounced it right, and if not, I apologize to you all. So the entire story revolves around the city of Saigon, and this story has 2 protagonists named Trang and Quinn. These are the 2 sisters who went to the Saigon city from their village to work as bar girls in order to earn money to help their parents repay their debts. And with that in the background, what you truly get to read about is how much this war affected these people, how much of the lives and the livelihood of people were affected, and how much of a destruction it caused. And there are multiple characters in this book. It's not just about the protagonist. I mean, that the main story is about the protagonist, but it is more about the other characters, about humanity in general. So what happens is that all these characters are linked in some way or the other. When you reach by the end of the story, you will realize that they are linked to each other, and the sole dark reality that links them is the war. So this book highlights the dark reality of our lives, which is called war. It is so heartbreaking to read. At the same time, it just opens up your eyes that people have suffered a lot. So this book named Dust Child means life of dust, and it is also about the mixed race children who were born after and during the war. So these are the children who were not accepted, who were banished from the society, and it is their story and the story about war, and I felt really glad that I got to read it. I would highly recommend that you read this book. Third and the last book that I read in the month of November is a sequel to a book that I really loved reading. It was a very beautiful experience, and the book was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. So after reading that book, I got to know that this book has a sequel as well, and I was so excited to read it. At the same time, I had it in my mind that how can the writer pull this off, because the ending of Me Before You was so heartbreaking, that you won't be able to see beyond it. You won't be able to see something, a sequel, even a sequel, that to being a romance novel, you won't be able to see it. So at the same time of being excited to read this book, I was also fearful that this book won't be that great. I mean, it won't be even be equal to the previous book, which is Me Before You, and that is exactly what happened when I finished reading it. So the book is After You by Jojo Moyes. The cover is really great, no doubt, but the story was not that great. I mean, I had high expectations because I read Me Before You, and it is one of a kind romance novel which will make you understand what it means, what it truly means to love someone enough to let them go. And if you want to understand that, you can always pick up that book and you can read it. It's a really beautiful story, a very simple story, but I thought that we will get to read about Louisa Clark, how she faces her life afterwards. In this one, in saying that, we did get to read about Louisa Clark in this book, about how she recovered from the loss, but this book in the beginning felt more like a thriller kind of book. While reading it, I was not trusting the intention of this other character. I cannot talk about this book without giving you spoiler, so I'll just keep it to very minimum words. It felt like thriller, but it did not feel like thriller. I was not trusting the other characters. I did not trust the plot, the storyline. I did not like it. I thought that this book could have been much better, but nothing compares to the prequel of this book, which is Me Before You. And I mean, you can pick this book up and you can read it, but even if you don't, you are not missing out on something. Me Before You is a really great book, and that is one book or one romance novel that I would recommend to everyone, but not this one, although I would definitely like to read more from Jojo Moyes. So that is all the 3 books that I wanted to talk about that I read in the month of November. So yeah, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked watching this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down, no worries, but do let me know in the comment section how you felt about this video. Are you going to read these books or not? Are they in your TBR or not, or have you read this book and how did you feel about them? So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll meet you soon with another video. Until then, stay happy, stay blessed, and keep reading. Ciao. Ciao. Bye.